Hi, in this particular video we're going to be aiming at about grade 3 GCSE worksheet on substitution. It should be fairly straightforward. If you're not sure about anything, always add a comment. I'll come back to you and I'll look forward to seeing you inside the video.
Okay, so just a quick note before we continue. If you require any additional support, please visit 3minutemaths.co.uk. You can search for any GCSE maths topic or search by grade, and if you click on any of the links, that will take you through to a particular post. So this one is how to answer maths indices questions. There are links through to the questions, the answers, and a walkthrough video as well. You can also remain on the YouTube channel, and all of the resources are within the YouTube channel and descriptions below each of the videos. Hope that's useful to you. Okay, in this worksheet we're going to be looking at substitution. It's aimed at about grade 3 GCSE. So it starts off fairly straightforward. Please do stop the video, have a go at each of these questions. First one is work out the value of 2x plus 2y when x equals 6 and y equals 7. So all we do is we take that value of 6 and we substitute it into where x would be, plus the value of 7, and we substitute it for y, and if we calculate that we get 12 plus 14, and that's going to give us an answer of 26. Okay, so question number 2, I'm going to use exactly the same method of doing this. I'm going to take the value of a, which is 8, and I'm going to take it away from the value of b, which is 5, and that would give me then 56 minus 30, and that's going to give me an answer also of 26. Okay, so that should be fairly straightforward, that all we're doing really is each time we're taking the value and putting it into brackets, and I do tend to use brackets quite a bit with these sorts of things. So if I want to work out the value of p, I'm going to take r, which is 3, take away 8, so that's going to be 12 times 3 is equal to 36 minus 8, and that's going to give us an answer of 28. Okay, so let's move on then to question number 4. Now this one is where t is a value of 0.5 or a half. So we've got s equals 0.5 multiplied by 0.5 plus 4. Now these are usually non-calculator, as I've noted at the top of the page here, but 0.5 times 0.5 is the same as saying 5 times 5, which is 25, and then we're going to move the decimal point 2 places, so it becomes 0.25 plus 4, so our final answer is going to be 4.25. Okay, if you're not sure about anything, always please add a comment below, and then I'll always come back to you. And there are other playlists on the channel that will help you with these sorts of questions. Okay, let's have a look then at question number 5. Now this is a formula, or the value of 5a minus 2b, but this time we've been given a and b at the top there, so that's going to be 5 times a, which is 5, minus 2 times 8, which is b, and that's going to give us 25 minus 16, and that going to equal to 9, and that'll be the answer to question number 5. Okay, so question number 6, now we're going to start using negative numbers, so a little bit more tricky, but again we're going to apply the same principle. Take the value of c, which is 6, put it into 4c, and then we've got 2, and this time I'm going to write d as minus 2, because what that reminds me then is that while 4 times 6 is going to be equal to 24, I've got minus 2, plus 2 times minus 2 is going to be minus 4. So my final answer on that, because a positive times a negative is a negative, that's going to give me 20 as my final answer. So there are a couple of questions on this to actually just check for yourself, so please do stop the video, have a go at this particular one. So I've got 10 multiplied by 8 plus 3 multiplied by minus 4, so that's going to be 80. Well, that's easy enough. And then plus 3 times minus 4 is minus 12. So my final answer will be 68. Okay, so as we're moving through these, they're going to start getting progressively more challenging as we move through, particularly with positive and negative numbers. Okay, so question 8 is no great exception. We've got 2 negative numbers on this one, so a little bit more challenging, but basically all we're doing is we're saying 12 multiplied by minus 6. And don't forget, plus is in the formula, so I'm going to leave it as plus, and then I've got 3 multiplied by minus 3. So 12 times minus 6 is going to be minus 72, and plus 3 times minus 3 is going to be minus 9, so my answer is going to be minus 81, because minus 72 minus 9 is going to be minus 81. Okay, let's have a look then at question number 9. So again, I'm going to write it out in the same way. 8 times minus 4, and that's this time minus, and then 4 times minus 10. So there's a lot of minuses flying around in this particular one, but I've got 8 times minus 4 is going to be minus 32, so that's fairly straightforward. But then I've got minus 4 times minus 10. Well, a minus times a minus is a positive, so that's going to be positive 40. Minus 32 plus 40 is going to give us a final answer of positive 8. Okay, let's move on then to question number 10. So again, same principle, and this time I'm going to say L equals 7 times 15, and that's going to be minus 4 times minus 3. So all I'm doing is directly substituting the values of m and n. So 7 times 15 is going to be 105. Now I appreciate I'm not doing these calculations actually on the screen, but as it is non-calculator, I could work that out in the margin or somewhere off to one side. Then I've got minus 4 times minus 3. Well, that's going to be plus 12. So 105 plus 12 is going to be 117. And that's the answer to question number 10. Okay, question number 11. Again, very similar principle. We're going to have P equals 12 times 10, and that's plus 3, and now multiplied by minus 10, which is the value of R. Okay, so 120 times 10, I beg your pardon, 12 times 10 is 120, and then I've got plus 3 times minus 10 is going to be minus 30, because a positive times a negative is going to be a negative, so therefore that's going to give you a value of P of 90, and that will be the answer to that particular question. Okay, let's move on then to question number 12. So again, I'm going to write it as S equals T, which is 7, and then that's multiplied by U, which is 4, and then minus 4. Now this one's slightly different because we've got 7 multiplied by 0. Don't forget we use BIDMAS, so we have to do what's the items in the brackets first before we do any multiplication. So 7 times nothing is actually going to be nothing, okay, or 0. All right, so a little bit of a tricky one, that one, but hopefully that's okay for you. Let's move on then to question number 13. And question number 13, I'm going to again write V equals, now W is actually going to be 6, so that's 6 multiplied by 5, and I'm going to write minus, and then I have minus 2, which is my value of x. Okay, so let's just be a little bit careful with this. So V is going to be equal to 6 times, and I'm going to do what's in the bracket. Now I've got two negatives together, so 5 plus 2 is going to be 7, so therefore my value of V is going to be 42, and that would be the answer to that particular question. Okay, so whenever you have to deal with negative terms, just be a little bit more careful with them, a little bit careful. Okay, let's have a look then at question number 14. So this one is fairly straightforward. We've got x equals 20 multiplied by y, which is 3, multiplied by z, which is 2. Okay, so that's going to give us 20 multiplied by 6. I tend to multiply the brackets together first, but you might just do 20 times 3 times 2. That's perfectly fine, it's not a problem. Either way, hopefully you'll get an answer of x being equal to 120. Okay, so number 15, we're back to negative numbers again. So this time we've got b squared minus 4ac. You might recognize that from the quadratic formula, but b squared minus 4ac. So I've got b, which is minus 4. Now remember that I'm going to put it in brackets, so it's minus 4 squared, because a minus times a minus is a positive, so I'm going to get a positive number for minus 4 squared. And that's going to be multiplied by 4 times a, which is 6, and c, which is 2. So minus 4 squared is minus 4 times minus 4, which is 16. And then I've got minus 4 times 12 is going to be minus 48. Okay, and that's going to give us a value then of minus 32. Okay, so hopefully that's okay for you. Again, be very careful about these negative numbers. All right, let's have a look at number 16. Number 16, we've got here the formula for the area of a trapezium, actually. So if I put the numbers straight in, so it's a half multiplied by A, which is 5, plus B, which is 8, multiplied by H, which is going to be 4. So again, I'm going to work out my brackets first. It's going to be a half multiplied by 13 multiplied by 4. Now again, I tend to do the full multiplication first. So I've got 13 times 4, which is going to give me a half of 52. So my answer is going to equal 26. However, if you prefer, there's absolutely nothing wrong with you saying, well, I'm going to do a half multiplied by 13 multiplied by 4, which is going to be a half times 13 is 6.5 times 4. That will also give you an answer of 26. It's absolutely fine if you prefer to do it that way around. Okay, let's move on then to question number 17, which is y equals mx plus c, which is the gradient of a straight line. And the value of y is going to equal the value of m, which is the gradient of minus 3, multiplied by x, which is 8, plus c, which is minus 4. Okay, so minus 3 times 8 is going to be minus 24, and then plus times a minus is going to be a minus or a negative, so that's going to be negative 4, which is going to equal to negative 28, and that would be the answer to that value of y in that question. Okay, so let's go on then to just a couple of slightly more tricky questions, but hopefully should be fairly straightforward for you. So we've got the formula for the cost of hiring a camper van is 150 plus 25D. So D is the number of days and 150 is the deposit, if you like. So C equals 150 plus 25, and that's multiplied by 4 days, so that's going to be 150 plus 100 is 250, so therefore the cost for hiring for 4 days is equal to £250, and that's the answer to part A. So part B, we're going to use the same formula, but this time the cost is 325, so I've got 325 equals 150 plus 25D, and it's the D part of it that we're trying to work out. So what I'm going to do is use a little bit of algebra. If I minus 150 from both sides of the equation, I'm going to get 175 equals 25D, and then I'm going to divide by 25 to get my value of D, which is going to be equal to 7, so therefore it would be 7 days higher, and that's going to cost £325. Okay, final couple of questions on this particular worksheet, which is formula for distance. So this is one that you might come across a little bit later on in your studies. It's been a little while since I've looked at this, but I think it's initial velocity times time plus a half of acceleration times time squared, I think. I can't quite remember. I think that's right. Okay, either way, we're going to use the formula to work out the value of S. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put into here S equals 3, which is the value of U, multiplied by 6, which is the value of T, plus a half of A, which is 4, plus T, which is 6 squared. Now you have to remember with these BIDMAS. Okay, so while it's okay to multiply out 3 times 6 is 18, when I look at the final part of this, the half AT squared, it's going to be a half multiplied by 4, and then I need to do the index first, so 6 squared is going to be 36. It doesn't mean a half times 4 times 6 and then all squared. It means that we're squaring the value of t, which happens to be 6. Okay, hopefully that's okay for you. If you're not sure, put a comment below and I'll put you in contact with some other videos on some other playlists. So a half plus, and then I've got a half of 4 times 36. Well, that's a half of 4 is going to be 2, so I can write that as 2 times 36, and that's going to equal, when I work that out, 90. So the value of S equals 90 for that particular one. Okay, on to the very last question on this particular worksheet, and again we're going to use exactly the same idea, where we're going to take this value of S equals U, which is going to be minus 5 this time, multiplied by T, which is 6, plus a half of 8 multiplied by 6 squared. Okay, so let's be a little bit careful. We've got minus 5 times 6 is going to be negative 30, plus a half of 8. Now again, I've got my value of t as 6. I need to square it first because of BIDMAS, so that's going to be 36. Okay, and that's going to give us then minus 30, and it's going to be half of 8 is 4, so it's 4 multiplied by 36, and when I calculate that, I'm going to get minus 30 plus 144, which means that S in this particular case will be 114, and that's the answer to the final question.
Okay, so I hope the video was useful to you. Please do subscribe, comment, like. If you're not sure about anything, always add a comment. I'll come back to you. I look forward to seeing you inside the next video.